What is up, everybody? Thomas here. I'm bringing you another video. We are going to do our Week 1 college football predictions, starting off with Ohio State and Indiana. I think Ohio State's around a 21-point favorite in this game. I think Ohio State wins this game. Indiana will cover the big spread there for sure. Well, not definite, but I think it's likely they cover that spread. But I think Ohio State wins this game. Game 2, Maryland at Texas. Texas, I believe, is 17.5-point favorites. But, Maryland is just not played Texas well in their history. They're 0-3 against Texas and have never scored against Texas. I think it's a pretty safe bet that Texas wins this game. I think this will kind of be that Week 1 game where Texas just dominates. So I'm going to take Texas to win this one, and I'm going to take them to cover that spread. Up next, Cal at North Carolina. This one's not too hard for me to pick. I will pick the Tar Heels here. It's going to be a very good high-scoring game. But in the end, I think the Tar Heels pull out maybe a 52-35 win. Cal's defense has nothing versus North Carolina. They still have a solid They have a decent defense. I think North Carolina's going to take advantage of Cal and win this game. Up next, NC State and South Carolina. I believe it's 6.5-point favorite for NC State. I think NC State will win this game, and honestly, I do think they cover this spread. Not that it's going to be a bad game. I just see NC State coming away late, scoring a couple of late touchdowns, and just nabbing that spread. So I'll take NC State to win and points, and get the points over the spread. Michigan and Florida, this spread is dropping slowly and slowly as the season goes by. Michigan is 3-point favorites, I believe, right now. This one's very hard for me to pick, but I'm going to take the Michigan Wolverines to win this game despite a very talented Florida team and despite a very young Michigan defense. Next game is Temple and Notre Dame. This spread's pretty big for me. I think Notre Dame's a 17-point favorite right now. I'm not favorable. I don't think Notre Dame's going to cover that spread. I do think they'll win the game. I don't think it'll be a 17-point game. I think it'll be around a 10-point game. I think Temple still has the talent to keep this game relatively close, but Notre Dame does win this game for me. Up next, Kentucky and Southern Miss. This game may be one of the better. This game has upset potential on it, but honestly, I think Kentucky will go on the road and make a statement and pull off a huge win over Southern Miss. Southern Miss has dominated the Conference USA in the last 3 years, but I think Kentucky shows the power of the SEC and wins this game. Up next, we have Western Michigan, the Cinderella team of 2016, taking on USC, who came out of nowhere. Well, they kind of both came out of nowhere last year. But obviously, USC is a top 5 team. They're number 4, taking on Western Michigan, who does not have high expectations for what they did last year. But they did lose Corey Davis, who was arguably the best wide receiver in college football. But to the game, I believe USC's 28-point favorites here. I think USC wins this game. Don't know about that spread. I think that spread's going to be tough to pick. If I had to bet on it, I'd choose Western Michigan to cover that spread, but I think USC wins by 21-24 points and snags a big win over Western Michigan. Up next, Appalachian State and Georgia. There is a lot of upset potential here. Appalachian State almost beat Tennessee last year, but taking on a Georgia team, I really don't know who to... I'm gonna pick Georgia here, but the 13.5 point spread, no, I think it's 14.5. I think Georgia wins by 2 touchdowns, but I think Georgia wins by 2 or 3 touchdowns, but the score's not gonna show the entire game. I feel like this game's going to be the type of game where it feels like it's a very close game, but somehow the Georgia Bulldogs are up 20 points at the end. And you're like, huh? I just think Georgia gets some good plays, and I think that'll take advantage of Appalachian State, especially on the defense side. Especially on the defensive side of the ball. Moving on to Louisville and Purdue. This one, Louisville's 25-point favorites. This spread is, I don't know what to say on this spread. On one hand, maybe Louisville clobbers Purdue 73-14 and just makes their case for a top 5 team again. Maybe Purdue comes out of nowhere, shocks Louisville. This is a game that I really don't know how it's gonna go. I do think Louisville will win this game, and I also do think Purdue will cover that spread. I think it'll be a 14 to 17 point win. Obviously, Louisville is going to probably outscore Purdue. I think the final score will be around 38-21, maybe 45-28. I just see Louisville winning this game. Up next, we have Florida State and Alabama. Top 3 matchup in week 1. Florida State was number 2. This would be called the game of the century. But Alabama and Florida State in week 1. I'm going to take the Tide to win this game. I just don't have confidence in Florida State right now. Yeah, they're good, but they lost Dalvin Cook, and I really don't see major besides their defense is pretty nice, but I think their offense is going to level out about the same, which their offense was pretty good last year, I will admit that. I don't think they'll keep up with Alabama. I think Alabama wins by 10 to 14 points. I just don't see Florida State. Not saying it's not going to be competitive. I think Florida State has one of the best chances to beat Alabama, but I think Alabama wins by 10 to 14 points. Next game, Vanderbilt, Middle Tennessee. This one has upset potential. But same effects with that Kentucky Southern Miss game. I think Vanderbilt shows the power of the SEC and just dominates this Middle Tennessee team. I just feel like the SEC is going to have a great week, and I think the Vanderbilt Commodores will play well and get a big win over Middle Tennessee. I think they'll win by 17 to 21 points. I just don't see Middle Tennessee keeping pace with Vanderbilt, especially with Middle Tennessee not playing great defense. First, Vanderbilt, who is a solid defense. So I'll take Vanderbilt to win and cover that 5-point spread. BYU and LSU. This game has been relocated. I don't necessarily know where it's being relocated to. Obviously, Hurricane Henry has done some field damage to LSU. But enough with that. Let's just get into the game. LSU, they were 13.5 point favorites before this relocation. announced, I think the spread's gonna jump down maybe 3 or 4 points, honestly. Yeah, maybe BYU is looking ahead to LSU. Yes, BYU struggled with Portland State. But I think they were looking ahead to this LSU game. I think they'll really show their power here. No, I'm not taking BYU to win this game, but I think they will play well here. I think they'll keep it competitive, but I think LSU wins maybe by 10 to 14 points. I just don't see BYU keeping up. Up next, we have Texas A&M and UCLA on Sunday. This one's very hard for me to pick. I'm going to take UCLA. I have no faith in Texas A&M. I mean, it's either UCLA or Texas A&M wants to start out 5-0 and just be terrible, and go 8 and then be 8-5 and just laugh in Texas A&M in the Texas A&M fan base face. I think UCLA wins by a touchdown here. I just don't see Texas A&M having any momentum this year. But let's move on to maybe one of the most... This game's supposed to be very exciting. I think West Virginia and Virginia Tech is a very good matchup. Obviously, West Virginia got the transfer Will Grier from Florida. And, obviously, some off-the-field issues with him forced him to leave Florida. But how will West Virginia handle Virginia Tech? This is one of the few games that I don't know what's going to happen. I mean, you really don't know what's going to happen anywhere, so that's probably not an excuse for not having a straight-up prediction right now. Maybe Will Grier does what he did in Florida and carries West Virginia and they'll dominate Virginia Tech. But I don't see that happening. I think it'll take a few weeks for West Virginia to develop chemistry with Will Grier. I think Virginia Tech pulls off this win. I think they win by a good 3 points, and it'll be a fantastic game to watch. Finally, we got Tennessee and Georgia Tech, the undeserving ranked Tennessee team for some reason, taking on Georgia Tech. This one's tough. Honestly. I think I'll take Georgia Tech to win this game. But I really don't know if they'll win this game. I'll take Georgia Tech to win this game. Tennessee's just overhyped. This is right. 25, no. I think Tennessee's overhyped and Georgia Tech shows them what they truly are, and then Georgia Tech sends them home with an 0-1 record. So thank you all for watching my Week 1 predictions for college football. Please like and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And as always, peace.